Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and before we get going, I'm gonna do something I don't normally do because I was asked to do it. Someone that's in my group yesterday had emailed me and said, you need to tell the story that you just told in the group out on the main YouTube channel, just to give them an example, because this is a really good thing that you talked about. You need to tell everybody on the outside of the group. And so I figured I would do that. Now, if you want to join the group, you got two options. You can go to daixrp.com. That's joining through the Patreon. Or if you'd rather join through YouTube, you just click the join button below any of my videos and you can go in. And I do the normal video plus an extended video. And you don't have any commercials, and it's less than the cost of a cup of coffee. Okay, so yesterday, this is what I talked about, part of what I talked about in the group. I just recently I took my son to Washington, D.C. because he had never been, and so we toured everything. We went, we toured Congress, we toured, I had one of the main congressmen walk right by me while I was there. That was kind of cool. We toured some of the museums, American History Museum. We did the Natural History Museum. We did, we walked all over. I mean, I bet we walked 20 miles. You walk a lot when you go to D.C. But we went to, of course, the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial. We did, you name it, we did. Went to Ford's Theater where Lincoln was shot by John Wilkes Booth. We did a lot. But the most interesting thing for me was when we went to the Bureau of Engraving and Printing in D.C. Now, if you've never been to the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, that's where all our money's printed. There's two locations. One's in D.C., one's out in Texas. And I'm telling you, from the time I walked in there until the time I walked out, I kept turning to my wife, who is the official wife of the Digital Asset Investor channel. I turned to her not once, not twice, but 3 times, and I said the following: there's no way on God's green earth that the United States allowed all this cryptocurrency stuff without it having been planned long ago and them having been involved or co-opted it early. I believe it's a combination of both. And that's just a fact. What they drill into you, first they take your cell phones, they say, or they don't take your cell phones, but they say no videoing, no recording, no anything, no pictures. And if we see you taking pictures, we're going to pull you out of the line and we're going to give you a different kind of, our Secret Service guys are going to give you a different kind of tour. I mean, it's threatening right from the beginning, and they tell you, I'll bet you this guy said 10 to 20 times, the purpose that this place is more important than anything in the United States. It is all about protecting the currency. And these are some of the things they went over. Security will take you on, and then they print $30 million a day. That's the other thing you get out of it. You're like, oh, okay. I leaned to my son. I said, son, if you had a baseball, this is a 12-year-old. I said, son, if you had a Babe Ruth rookie card, baseball card, and you walked through this facility and you saw them printing and they were printing nothing but Babe Ruth baseball cards, what do you think that would do to the value of your Babe Ruth baseball card? Do you think it would make it go up, or do you think it'd make it go down? And a 12-year-old can figure this one out. And so that was part of what I got out of it. But at the end of the tour, I asked the guy, if protecting the currency is so all important, why has the government not made crypto illegal then? I mean, these guys in a snap of a finger, they could have made crypto illegal, but they did not. His answer was, I guess they don't think it's a threat to the dollar. And my translation of that is very simple, folks. Just look at the stable coins. What are the stable coins doing? You have to have these ledgers to create the stable coins. They create the stable coins, and what do? What's been the threat for all these years that you've been hearing? Oh, China and Russia, they're going to dump their U.S. treasuries. Well, look what's happening. All these private companies, are they not in essence many countries that are being created to suck up all the U.S. treasuries and thus prop up the dollar? That's exactly what's going on. This stuff was planned long ago. And early on, I chose the one company that was working closest with regulators, which was Ripple. Period. Folks, this is a no-brainer. Do not be distracted by all this stuff that's going on. Tariffs, all this stuff. You're about to see the transition to a new financial system. And if you don't think all of this was planned long ago, you are not paying attention. And if you don't believe me, go to the Bureau of Engraving and Printing yourself. This guy made it clear in no uncertain terms. Nothing's happening to the currency, and the currency will be protected at all costs. He literally said, if the United States was attacked, they will protect the Bureau of Engraving and Printing before they protect the White House. I hope that sinks in. Now, the markets, because of all the tariff stuff, yesterday Trump had the Liberation Day and the tariffs announced and all that, and everything dipped. Looks like the stock market's going to dip this morning. But when XRP dipped, I went in and bought. It had dipped around where it is now. I'm paying attention right now at when the markets open and the stock market and all. If the stock markets dump and that causes crypto to dump, I'm going back in. I'm getting more XRP, and that's the fact, Jack. I wanted to hit this before I go any further. The EZA guys dropping the location of our next Ripple hackathon soon. Can you guess where it is? My guess will be XRP Las Vegas. These guys are coming, and they are. I don't know if they're going to call it a hackathon. I think they are. There's going to be like $25,000 in prizes for builders, developers, whoever wins. I guess I don't know how their contest works. But anyway, go to xrplasvegas.com because we're less than 60 days out. It's coming fast now, and it is going to set records. We had the first year, I don't remember how many people it was. Second year, we set a record. This year, we're setting a record. I think this is going to be into the thousands, like I keep saying, in terms of people coming. Go to xrplasvegas.com to get your tickets. Now, I'm not going to play the whole thing, but this was Trump talking about the tariffs yesterday.
67%. That's tariffs charged to the USA, including currency manipulation and trade barriers. So 67%, I think you can, for the most part, see it. Those with good eyes, with bad eyes. We didn't want to it's very windy out here. We didn't want to bring out the big charts because it had no chance of standing. Fortunately, we came armed with a little smaller chart. So it's 67%, so we're going to be charging a discounted reciprocal tariff of 34%. I think, in other words, they charge us, we charge them less. So how can anybody be upset?
Exactly.
They will be, because we never charge anybody anything. But now we're going to charge. European Union, they're very tough, very, very tough traders. You think of European Union, very friendly. They rip us off. It's so sad to.
All right. If you zoomed in on that chart, we're still charging a lot less than a lot of them are charging us. There's nothing unreasonable about this. The only reason the market's reacting the way they are is because any drastic change, that's what's going to happen. But I believe in the mid to long run, this is going to create massive booms for the United States. This is Secretary of Treasury Bessent talking about.
Brett, I say that what we are doing is we're setting the stage for a long-term economic growth, that we were on our way to a financial crisis. I used to teach a history of financial crises, and with that gigantic government spending, it was unsustainable. You look back in 1998, you look back in 2007, right before it looked great, that everything collapsed. So, it looked great right before everything collapsed. So we have taken us off that trajectory, and we are putting ourselves back onto a sound trajectory.
Exactamundo. I don't know if any of you remember, but this is from the official Cool Guy, the Digital Asset Investor channel. This is a graphic that was going around in the XRP community way back in like 2018-19. It really is illustrative of what's going on now, isn't it? And then you had, we can't forget this, with all this tariff talk going on, you have to wonder, and I'm betting dimes to donuts, that digital assets are in play in this transition to this new system, increasing the tariffs. There's no doubt in my mind.
Money is not. Money has not had its shipping container moment. It's still stuck in the 70s or maybe before. And that is really holding back the world, right? So trillions of dollars, again, being wasted. I use the example of 4 cents to move a shirt all the way across the world. Pretty much costs nothing to send a message all the way across the world. I'll give you one example of an Airbnb host in Tanzania. He's charging $29 to a customer through that platform. By the time the money has gotten to that host, this is an actual or actual example, $9. So $20 to move the value, 4 cents to move the shirt, almost nothing to move data. So obviously this has to change. And of course, the implications of this lack of interoperability of money is, even all of you in this room, wealthy people, you can't send 50 euros without it all being chewed up in fees. Now, of course, there are some applications that try to, that sort of mask this, and they do a great job of it.
What better time to make the transition with all these tariffs than at the time when you can incorporate these new, faster, easier, cheaper ways of conducting business globally?
But what they're doing, of course, without infrastructure for the whole world, is they're absorbing settlement risks, they're eating the cost. That's not scalable.
And is that not something that you would have conversations behind the scenes with all these other countries over the years leading up to this? We also have this.
And now we're going to pass the largest tax cuts in American history, and that's where we're relying on Mike and John Thune. And we will not cut Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid benefits, and the Democrats will, because...
All right, I got so much more. I want to at least show you this. Today is, no, we've talked we've seen them all over the place about these Sunshine Act meetings that the SEC has. I think that they've got another one today. In the past, they've all been insignificant, but the question is, today, is it significant? Because today, remember the last thing with the Ripple lawsuit is for a commission vote. So is today the commission vote? Is April 3rd XRP holders' real liberation day?
The chart of the day is presented by Crypto.com, the leading crypto platform trusted by over 100 million users worldwide. Let's take a look at the chart of the day. XRP, the token closely linked to Ripple Labs, is showing signs of a potential breakout as its price chart forms a symmetrical triangle pattern alongside other bullish technical indicators. XRP's price action is tightening as it approaches the apex of the triangle. This setup, commonly observed in crypto markets, often precedes a sharp move, either upward or downward, depending on the direction of the breakout. Fibonacci retracement analysis further supports this outlook, identifying $2.04 as a key support level and $2.20 as a critical resistance. XRP analyst Dark Defender saying a break above $2.20 could confirm the bullish trend, potentially driving XRP toward the $5 to $8 range in the midterm. Tailwinds include a closed-door meeting on April 3rd when the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission is expected to vote to dismiss its appeal on whether XRP is a security. A U.S. House crypto hearing on April 9th is further expected to advance regulatory clarity on digital assets. I'm Christine Lee. For more crypto news headlines and price data analysis.
Says SEC could dismiss Ripple lawsuit in closed-door April 3rd meeting and clear the path for XRP rally. Is today the day? Let's look at this too. This is an interesting clip from the Black Swan Capitalist.
The U.S. has been weaponizing the U.S. dollar for the past 10 years. And there is a side of the world that is saying enough is enough. Like, we don't want to get caught, or we don't want to get ruled by the US on a worldwide basis. So particularly China, but Russia and some India, some of the other countries are in the process of creating a dual system of payment, of currency to counteract the US dollar. And so these central banks are buying gold as a reserve currency. Will they use gold to back a new currency? We don't know, possibly, or a basket of currency. We don't know. Will they use a crypto kind of currency backed by the Chinese government? We don't know. What I do believe, though, is
how will it interoperate with the U.S.?
That at the end of the day, you will end up with a dual world in terms of system of payment and the currency you pay. And that's not good for the dollar.
Okay. I found that this clip I played in the group yesterday as well. And so we'll finish here as we go into the group. But I wanted to show you this. This is Rosie Rios. This is from 11 years ago. But the point I wanted to make is, you see all this talk about them going into audit Fort Knox and all. You're telling me that they haven't gone in there? That you think Trump's going to just go in Fort Knox and not know ahead of time? It's like the thing with attorneys. They never put someone on the stand unless they already know what the answers are going to be. Same concept. These people know full well what's in those vaults and exactly an accounting of it. I think that they're setting things up for a big media show maybe. But Rosie Rios knew 11 years ago.
I mean, and you've been to Fort Knox.
I have been. So
Can you
Fort Knox is under
Rosie Rios of the Ripple board.
as well. So all gold
Describe
reserves
walking into Fort Knox.
So Fort Knox is it's obviously next to Fort Knox, but it's a fabulous, amazing building. It reminds me when you access it. It's smaller than you think, by the way. But when you access it, if anyone is old enough to remember Get Smart and all those windows and doors that open,
And
that's
the
exactly what it
shutting doors,
feels
yeah.
like. And the most humbling part is when you have to be weighed before you go into the vault, so that any metal that's detected, you're going to weigh the same coming out. So at least that's the intention. So it's actually very, very cool. It's these individual vaults of gold, and it is all there, absolutely all there.
Okay, so one final thought on my visit to the Bureau of Engraving. The other thing they said there, well, they said two interesting things. One is those Andrew Jackson $20 bills that you have in your pocket, those are going to be worth something because they're going to phase Andrew Jackson out. They're going to replace him with Harriet Tubman. The other thing that they've made a point of is that only female signatures are on our money. Rosie Rios's signature is one of them. So I'll say one thing to you before we go into the group, and that is, if you think Rosie Rios from the Treasury came to the Ripple board, and if you think Craig Phillips from the Treasury came to the Ripple board, he's not on there anymore, I don't think. But if you think all these Treasury people and Federal Reserve type people came through Ripple, and you don't think that's significant, and you think that this has all just been Ripple against the world completely, I've got this igloo in South Georgia I'm wanting to sell to you as we go into summer. It'll melt in probably just hours, less than 24 times and muggy as it gets here. But you would be the perfect buyer. Okay, remember, if you want to join the group, go to daixrp.com to join through the Patreon, or you can join the same group by going into YouTube, click the join button below every single one of my videos on YouTube, and you can join. Today, we're going to go a little further with this, and I'm going to show you something very interesting, a document that many of you who haven't been around haven't seen it. But there's a document that, in my opinion, predicted a lot of what we're seeing now. And I'm going to show it to you. In fact, it's very hard to find, but I dug it up. I was able to find it. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Away we go.